PPP has maintained close ties with its voters. It delivers where it matters. The PPP is not known for mega projects, really creating a culture of dependency rather than empowering people. But I think it has served the party well. There is this perception that their members, they have enriched themselves, they've stolen public funds. At the end of the day, people who go out to vote, it doesn't really matter to them.
In the southeast of Pakistan lies Sindh, a stronghold of political dynasties. These influential families have consistently held power, whether under civilian or military rule, maintaining a firm grip on the political landscape. Major parties inevitably seek their favor by offering tickets, solidifying positions, and gaining access to power corridors. These entrenched electables strategically choose deals to stay relevant. Seat arrangements indicate that, beyond Karachi and Hyderabad, the 2024 general elections in Sindh will predominantly be a contest between the PPP and other contenders in numerous constituencies. The question that naturally arises is, how has the PPP managed to maintain its stronghold in Sindh despite facing strong criticism for its performance?
So that is a fascinating question, which I think puzzles a lot of commentators in Pakistan who have been very critical of PPP's performance. I think what a lot of people in urban areas miss out on is the fact that the PPP has maintained close ties with its voters in rural Sindh. And contrary to popular belief, it has also delivered to the most, the poorest in the province. And examples are, for example, the Benazir Income Support Program, which has made a huge difference to women as a safety net. If you look at the floods we had, the historical floods in Sindh, the PPP has since then started building or reconstruction for a lot of people. More than, I think, 300,000 houses have been built. So it delivers where it matters. The PPP is not known for mega projects, for example, like Muslim League Nawaz is. They can show huge projects, metros and motorways and grand schemes. PPP isn't really known for that. They focus on giving relief to the downtrodden. Now, people have criticized that you are actually creating a culture of dependency rather than empowering people. But I think it has served the party well. So while there is this perception that their members have been involved in corruption, they have enriched themselves, they've stolen public funds, and there may be a lot of truth to it, at the end of the day, people who go out to vote, it doesn't really matter to them. That's what I would say. I'm not saying people are okay with corruption, but I think they have bigger issues on their mind, issues of survival, issues of feeding their families. And the PPP tries to trickle down in that way. It is a corrupt system, it is a dysfunctional system. It doesn't serve the public or the province in the longer term, but it works. And that appears to be the Zardari strategy, if you will. So if you look at the PPP, its vote bank has consistently grown since 2008, after the assassination of Benazir Bhutto. And that has happened through a combination of winning over your opponents by hook or crook, eliminating any opposition, and Mr. Zardari and his sister Faryal Talpur, operationally they have done that. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is their CSR. He's the popular face. He's the progressive face of the party. He connects with younger people. He represents a little bit of change from the past, and he commands the emotional appeal, because the PPP also reminds its voters that we are the party of the martyrs. The grandfather was hanged, the mother was assassinated, and so there is that emotional appeal as well, generational emotional appeal for people of Sindh to connect with the PPP. Now, having said that, we mustn't underestimate the amount of disappointment with the PPP, especially among younger, more educated, more tech-savvy people who do not like dynastic rule. They are resentful of families ruling virtually every district of Sindh. They don't like fiefdoms. They want equal opportunities, and they don't want to be dependent on politicians for basic civic services. So, but the problem is that resentment hasn't boiled over yet, and one reason for that is there isn't a fantastic alternate as well. So people are often found questioning themselves that if I don't want to vote for PPP, who do I vote for? So in Sindh, traditionally you've had smaller Sindhi nationalist parties, but people of Sindh have hardly ever voted for them. People have voted for Pakistan People's Party, which believes in federation, which is not which it doesn't have a narrow agenda. Then you have the Muslim League Functional, traditional rival to the PPP in rural areas. Again, they have hardly anything to offer, which is better than the PPP. Their politicians are also spiritual leaders, not really known for any dynamic public agenda. And then you have these independent people, influentials in different districts of Sindh, like you have Arbab Ghulam Rahim in Thar, you have in Badin, you have the Mirza family, and so on and so forth. And these are electables. They sometimes cut a deal with the PPP, but if they are not getting a good deal, then they will stand independently, hoping that they can capture on the anti-PPP sentiment. The reason why I feel that in Sindh we will have the PPP for 20 years now is because of these factors. Karachi, the provincial capital and the commercial capital of Pakistan, again, the PPP has grown its footprint in the city, and this was evident from last year's local government elections, in which the PPP managed to bring its own mayor after a very, very long time. It commands popularity in certain areas of Karachi. It has traditionally for decades, especially in areas, coastal areas with Sindhi speaking and Baloch population, but it is now also making inroads in Urdu speaking population as well. Recently we've seen ex-lawmakers from the MQM party join the PPP. It is also making an effort to present itself as not just the party of Sindhi speaking people, but also resonate with Urdu speaking and Pashtun speaking people in the city of Karachi as well. So it is making that effort, and I think it will be an interesting fight between MQM and the PPP, especially in District Central, which has been the traditional stronghold of the MQM. But I think Karachi will have a divided mandate, divided between the MQM, the PPP, Jamaat Islami has emerged as a force in the last 5-6 years. They have really resonated with young people. They have become tech savvy. They have tried to change their outlook from a regressive, conservative, religious party to a party which believes in social action. And they have been actually working very actively at the neighborhood level, and disaster relief, and connecting with the youth as well as women. So we will see how it pans out. But yes, the PPP is claiming to be a serious stakeholder in the city of Karachi as well. The feedback I'm getting from various places in Sindh, and this is also a bit surprising, because we generally think that Sindh is the PPP territory, but I'm hearing from a lot of people, like man on the street, wanting to vote for a pro-PTI candidate, and that's because they not only they feel connected to Imran Khan's message, but also because they are fed up with legacy parties and traditional parties like the PPP. Now, how much of is that like mood on the street, which may not necessarily translate into election process? that remains to be seen. But I think the way all the evidence is that our state institutions are determined that pro-PTI candidates do not participate, do not win. If they win, they switch loyalties. So this is a hugely uphill task. The PTI keeps saying that, of course, we are trying to mobilize people, but their leadership is in jail, and they have faced, series of obstacles. So I think essentially, I would not put a lot of hope into PTI giving any surprises in this election, because the entire system is placed against it, and they may have to think a bit more medium to long term. I think it's pretty clear that we will have a government which will be a weak government in the center, and in Sindh it may be the PPP once again, possibly getting into coalition with the MQM again. But if the MQM chooses to remain in opposition, then PPP will have the simple majority to continue to run the province as it has. So it will be more of the same.
The general apathy of voters towards the impending polls, coupled with the insufficient campaigning by candidates from rival parties, and the PPP's adeptness in either enticing or silencing opposition through favors, have paved the way for a smooth electoral journey for the former ruling party.